welcome. On this channel, I do unscripted, unedited videos about Linux programming and stuff. I have been recently working on a toy multiplayer space game as a learning exercise. In this video, we're going to continue with that while making some heavy use of Claude code. So let's make sure we're in a clean directory. Get status. Oh, yep. Of course, we have the to-do file in there that was generated in the previous video. It's some refactoring we're doing on the Q files. Tests. Let's add that to the git ignore. Add the... because I think this will be a normal pattern that I'll use in the future, is make myself a to-do with Claude, kind of work through the list, and then the to-do file will probably be changing pretty regularly, but add the to-do MD file to to.git ignore. I'm way overusing Claude here. I probably don't need to use it this much. It is update git ignore with one addition. Done. Propose a commit message for the current changes. I think now Claude has these things like these slash commands that you can do, and I could probably turn these specific things into just slash commands, so that if I understand it right, so that I don't have to even type as much as I am. What was apply the proposed yes. Now I'm not real sure. Like right here, I'm going to clear the cache essentially for the prompt. I'm moving from one task to another. I don't know if it really makes sense to clear it or to compact it. I need to do a little more poking around online to see opinions about that. But the thing I'm going to do now is, so we've already done this one. That was the first one. Test adding to a full queue. Create a test. Create a test. Create a test in test queue. I don't even know the behavior without going to look at it. So, so let's ask Claude. What is the current expected behavior from source queue if I add a message to a full queue? I think I could almost get to the point where I'm not. I mean, I'm using Claude to do like all the verifications, but pretty much not even looking at the code. It's what it seems like. When adding a message to a full queue, the queue add function will block and wait. Okay, so specifically, so we want a similar test to the previous. So create to the add test, waiting for a message, is the one we did in the previous video. Create a multi-threaded test in test queue that verifies attempts to push a message on a full queue blocks until the queue is not full. Ooh, I don't want to do that. I've changed how I'm doing this. What I wanted to do is propose the solution. So what I'm going to write is propose a change to create a multi-threaded test in test queue tests that verifies an attempt to push a message on a full queue blocks until the queue is not full. Mm-hmm. It does a good job of building up its own context without having to add tons and tons of information, right? It goes and looks at that file. What did it give us? So, we have the blocking producer thread, the delayed consumer thread. Then we do a test, make the queue, fill it to capacity, try to add message 1 and 2. Queue is now full. The producer later on, I'll ask it to make the code more consistent. I think it was using... no, it's still... Well, I'm not sure. I'll take a look at the two. Verify the producer hasn't completed yet. Still blog. Start the consumer will free up space after the delay. Wait for both threads to complete. Okay. Run that test. And here we're in... later on, I'll clean these things up, I think, so that everything is dynamically allocated. Let me also check now if we're accessing the queue size. We shouldn't access internal fields directly. Let's run. So it ran the test and passed. I'm going to... what? Oh, it did not pass. Let me debug this. Looking more carefully at... Oh, so it was just asking to run the test before. The issue is that we're trying to free statically allocate. Okay, so yeah. I might have to make this fix now, I bet. Well, we'll see if it gets a solution, and then I'll add a fix. What I want to do is I just want to define all the strings at the top of the file and then have everything do dynamic allocation all the time. The problem is that the messages have they have a length field, and then the body, which is typically for most of these tests just a null terminated string. And so you kind of have to know the length when you're building the header. And so you need a constantly defined string somewhere. Summary, I've done this. Okay, so the tests pass. Create a small queue, capacity 2. It fills completely. Verifies. Okay, prepare a propose a commit message message for the current changes. So this is bordering on some vibe coding that I'm not really looking at the code. I am going to look at the code a bunch more. I know there are certain things wrong with it right now that I want to clean up. So test, add multi-threaded test for queue blocking on full capacity. Add test queue, add blocks, blah, 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 to verify the queue, add correctly blocks. Resumes, co-authored by Claude. Make the suggested commit. Yes. Now, the follow-up thing I wanted to do is propose a change that moves all test strings in test queue to the two defines at the top of the file. Let's propose a change that uses define to define all test strings in test queue at the top of the file, and then always uses dynamic allocation when building messages. I kind of have Vim motions here, but I don't really. I think, oh, well, okay, that worked. I have to figure out what subset of Vim motions I have available when I'm typing a prompt. It was kind of throwing me there for a second. So we're mixing tests where we're statically and dynamically allocating the. I should pull this open. I just know because I had seen it. But exactly, I want it to just define all the test messages at the top, and then I'll find a spot and show it here, but maybe I'll be able to do it right here. Yeah, so here's a so we're saying, hey, it's a notice. Oh, I lost it. Where was that? So in the header, you have to set the length. And here we want to dynamically allocate it, right? So I like what it did here. It's doing them. Well, maybe not. Well, let's. But the problem before was we would have. You have to know the length at this point, and then you create the body afterwards. And having all the messages move to top and always dynamically allocated. While it's doing that, I'm gonna returns a pointer to a new string, which is a duplicate of the other. Memory for the new string is obtained with malloc and can be freed with free. And that's what I thought, and then I didn't see the freeze for it. So we're going to take a look at this. So it looks like it figured out its own mistake there. Okay, so I just want to jump over here and take a look at source key test. I want to look at okay, so it is freeing them. So actually, that's the easy way, is just search for frees. There's not that many in here. So pop message body is being freed there. It's freeing message body. It's that message body. I didn't see it before when I was glancing at it going by inside of Claude, but it is freeing them. It has to, otherwise we would have been getting errors. Created a helper function, create test message, that always returns a dynamically allocated message. Takes the message type of blah, blah, blah. Uses string dupe to dynamically. I like it. Update all tests. Yes. Let's come back here. I'm going to go back to normal. As much as I live in Vim, but I can't get used to having such a small subset of Vim movements. So we'll just leave it without. Propose a commit propose a commit message for the current changes. Did I just mix the two of those together? I don't think I did. Refactor, standardized qtest string constants and message allocation. Define all, yes. Apply the proposed commit. Yes. Another thing I keep doing, I can't quite get used to, is I keep hitting enter after the number when it's prompting me for things. So let's take a look. Vim to do. So we just did adding to a full queue. We also did a little cleanup around the strings. And then the next one we have here is null parameter handling for qcreate, qadd, and qpop. I am going to take this exactly as it worded it and see what it gives me. Propose a change to handle test let's go with just to test null parameter handling for qcreate, qadd, and qpop. I'm going to make it smaller. Propose a change to test null parameter handling for qcreate. There's a possibility there are asserts that are going to be in our way here when we do this. In the actual Q code. One of the things I'm trying to figure out is like the optimal size to ask for these changes, right? Obviously, I'm going a little on the small side here. But these small iterations also really help me keep a handle on exactly what the code is and does. Although you'll notice I haven't really been reading it. I mean, I am reading the changes, and I know what behavior I'm testing for. So, okay, what did that say? Looking at the code, I can see qcreate already has an assertion to check the capacity, but it doesn't handle null parameter cases. The function takes a single parameter capacity, which is a value type, not a pointer, so there's no null parameter to check. However, I noticed the test suite doesn't have a test for the edge case where queue_create fails due to memory allocation use. Here's my proposed... Oh, wow, it went off in left field. Here's my proposed change to add proper testing. So this is... these operations use assert internally. So in debug builds, they would abort, and release builds behavior is undefined. This test document... we can't actually test these without causing an abort in debug mode, but we document that null queue parameter would be checked by caller. So the following would trigger asserts: queue add null queue, create test message, queue pop, queue destroy. Oh, it actually still did all three. Instead, we verified that the queue_create can return null on allocation failure, though we can't easily force malloc to fail in a unit test. Test pass message null queue operation. Oh, that's an interesting. So it's basically a null test. Which I am not going to accept. I'm not sure what I want the behavior to be there. I have to think about this. I have no idea what it's doing. Oh, it must be compacting the... I don't know what it's doing. So right now at the moment... we have this most recent proposal. What did I hit 3, I thought. Those changes do exist on disk right now, right? Good status. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to check it out and clear here. Right, so it doesn't have that change set in context. But if I make clean, make test, we still only have those 3. I think what I'm going to do, I think maybe I'll bounce back and forth here. What I'm going to do in the next video is I'm going to ask Claude to improve the queue module, and I'm going to ask it for suggestions about improving that. Clearly there are some edge cases that aren't handled in there really well. It just kind of brought that to attention. So I think that will be my plan in the next video. I guess I'll see you there.